Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it is Tuesday Newsday, and this week you have me. Well, you have Mr. Doan too, but he's on the other side of the camera. But believe me, he is letting his presence known. Here, let me show you what he's been doing. Look at this loaf of bread. Yeah, there's a reason I'm not a size 2. It's that man's fault right there. He's been baking up a storm. He's such a good bread baker. We make it and we share it. You know, we do whatever we can. Anyway, I wanted to share with you some of the things that I've been doing because I've been quite busy. And here there are a lot of people who come with their own talents, and whenever they're willing to share, they offer up a class and we get to learn all kinds of things. So I want to share with you some of those things. The first is these dolls. This is the rough pattern that I drew up from the dolls. My friend Pam Campbell is the one who came up with this pattern, and I thought I would learn how to do it and teach them. And I just want to show you how cute they are. Look how cute she is. And every time I make one, someone's name comes into my mind that needs a doll. And so we go and give them a doll. And look at their faces. They're so cute. Aren't they so happy? And they have little purses. Oh, you know, there's little jewelry, little earrings, all kinds of little things. So fun. Even I made a pattern for underpants. They have underpants on. You know, you can't not have your underpants on. Anyway, here's another one. This one has a high pony and, and a backpack. Look at this backpack. And so I've made, I don't know, a few of these, maybe half a dozen, and every time I make one, a name will come into my mind, and then I will be able to hand it off to that person. It brings them great joy. It also brings me great joy to be able to share and do this. Another gal came, Sister Benyon, and she does a lot of beading. And beading is something I haven't really gotten into, but she taught us how to make these little Christmas trees with beads. And here they have kiosks with beads hanging. Oh, they just hang. I mean, they're everywhere, all sizes, all kinds, and they're just on every corner you can get them. And so I just want to show you some of my trees. I have to say, I've gotten a bit carried away with these. Ron makes the frames. We wrap copper thread, or is it, yeah, copper not thread, copper wire around the bottom. He's like, wire. and then we just bead up the top. He makes the frames, which include these little beads on the top. But look at these. You think I'm obsessed, or what's happening? Can you see them there? Yeah, we have a few of those going on. Those are, and they're beautiful. I just think they're so lovely. Look at this one with its shiny beads. Isn't that so pretty? Am I right, Ron? Can they see it? All right. Okay, so the other thing I've been working on are my potato chip blocks. And the potato chip block is a 2 by 3.5 inch piece of fabric, and every single piece in the quilt is the same. So I have one that I'm doing that are blocks, and then I have one that I'm doing where I've inserted white, and I'm making this kind of a block. And so this is really fun because as I cut up my scraps, I just cut them all into, 2 by 3.5 inch pieces, and I just get to sew those. They're so cute, right? All right, so let me see what else I've been doing here. Oh, it was March, so I made birds, and these are the birds from my front door, and of course this bird is probably me right here. It's like everybody goes one direction. Where does Jenny go? She's out there in left field. Anyway, so this little sashing and border here is made by sewing. I took about 18-inch pieces of fabric, strips about 1, 1.5, 1.25, all different sizes, strips this way, sewed them all together long, and then chopped them up this way and sewed them together so that I could add and make a little border around here. So I'm not cutting little pieces. Sorry, Cherry, no little 1-inch squares for me. But I make the strips and sew them in long pieces and then put them together. And this is the pattern. You can download this. This is a free pattern. It's called Block Lotto. and it's a free bird pattern, and I did a tutorial on it. You can find it on YouTube. We asked the gal, took a little bit to find her. We asked her about doing a tutorial on this bird because these birds are addictive. Let me just tell you, once you make a couple, you just can't stop. You just can't stop. So so they're really fun, and she said as long as we didn't sell the pattern, we could do the tutorial. So the pattern is free and available, and really fun. The other thing I've been making are these Africa Queen blocks like this. And if you go online and you search African Queen block, you'll find lots of different things, but you'll also find this girl. And there's a woman who made this pattern, but she has put it up publicly to share. And her measurements are a little different than mine. So whenever somebody says 7/8, my mind gets a little crazy, you know, I just get a little fuzzy. So I don't like to do 7/8. So I adjusted the measurements so that it would make sense to me. This is my measurements right here. I'm going to hold this up here for a second so that you can see it. And if you want to freeze frame it and copy it or print it or whatever, you can do that. This is a great way to use up pieces of fabric that that you want a bigger piece, you want to show something. I'm doing it with my dresses. And so let me tell you what to cut with this. The first thing on the top is the print. And out of your print fabric, you're going to cut 1 6-inch square. Can they see this, Ron? This way. 1 6-inch square. You're going to cut 2 1.5 by 3-inch pieces right here. Let me see. Now that I know I need to get at the bottom of my board, I'm going to go down here. And then 1 1.5 by 3.5 for the headscarf, and 1 1.5 by 2.5 for the headscarf. Out of the black fabric or whatever color face fabric that you want, you're going to cut 1 2.5-inch square and 2 1.5-inch squares. Okay, so we have those. And then out of your background fabric, and I used white and gray in mine. I have 2 different colors because I thought it would be fun to like checkerboard those. But out of your background, you're going to need 2 1.5 by 3.5-inch pieces, and you're going to need 2 2.5 by 6-inch pieces like this. And then you're going to need 1 1.5-inch strip, the width of the fabric, and that's to put a border around it. This is the border right here. The reason I did the border is because you guys know I'm not a super accurate sewer, and so this enables me to trim all my blocks so they're exactly the same size, and they'll all fit together. All right, so let me show you how to put this together because it goes together real quick and easy, and that way you'll get a little tutorial in here as well. All right, so we're going to take our 2 1.5 by 3.5-inch pieces. Can they see them up here? And we're going to put a square on the top like this, one of these squares. These are the hands, and these are the arms. And you're going to sew diagonally this way and diagonally this way. You want them opposite. So I have 2 right here sewn that are opposite right here. Okay, so now I'm going to assemble this block so you can see how to do it. Because once we have this little bit done, I can show you how to do it. And then you'll be amazed at how easy this is because this block looks hard, doesn't it? But it is not. All right, so we're going to take our block right here, and I'm going to set mine on point because I want all of my dresses on point. And because I'm Angly Challenge, this helps me to be able to see what's going on. All right, so we're going to put our sleeve here, and we're going to put this sleeve here. And we put this is the little hand right here. This is the little hand. And we're going to put it up here on the sleeve right like this, and we'll sew those together. We'll sew these together, do the same thing. Our sleeve is up here, and here's her little hand. And some of them have the hands out. I liked mine in, like they were in their pockets. And then we're going to sew this arm to this piece, and we're going to sew this arm to this piece. And then we're going to take this is the head right here, and we're going to put her scarf on this side and this side, just like that. And we'll sew it to the end of one of this block right here, this one. It doesn't matter really which end you sew it to, but we're going to sew it to that end, and then voila, you have the little African Queen. She's so cute, right? I think she's just adorable. Anyway, she goes together real quick and easy, and I have a dress made out of this. So the dresses I'm getting fabrics made out of, I thought it would be a great memento for me to make all the little dresses and be able to show you those kind of things. All right, let's see. I've shown you the bread, the dolls, the African beads, the trees. What have we been up to? I've been up to a lot of sewing. I tend to enjoy that very much. A lot of teaching this last week on Wednesday. We went to a school, the McCarthy Hill School. We taught over 200 children of all varying learning abilities how to sew, and it was just magical. It was just wonderful. You can see that on my personal Instagram page. It's Jenny MSQC, where I post about what I'm doing in Africa here. We had a great time. Mr. Ron got kind of a hefty sunburn. Things are usually outside here. And he forgot his hat. So, you know, he got a little sunburn. All right, so the other thing, let's see. The weather here has been lovely, 88 as usual, every day. It's fabulous being here. Just so you know, I am coming home the very end of June. And so we're starting to get a little, actually what I'm getting really worried about is I'm pretty sure I'm going to need another suitcase, at least one. Ron's holding up 2 fingers, at least maybe 2, I don't know. But we're starting to think about those kind of things and logistics and all that kind of stuff. And so we're super excited about that. The other thing I want to share with you is that, you know, we've just made it through Christmas. But the Jenny box is available for pre-sale. And even though I'm here in Africa, I'm involved in every single piece of that. I love the box. They send me ideas about the box. I send ideas back. We come together on the box. And I love the box because, well, who doesn't love a box, for one? Especially our age. We love boxes. We can't hardly throw a box out. But these boxes are beautiful. Everything that's, well, you know, I can't tell you what's inside. I wish I could, but I can tell you that there is more fabric and projects than ever before. And so, so it's super cool. You should look forward to that. If you want one, go grab it. I hope you enjoyed last year's. I thought last year's was fabulous. It was so hard for me to film because I regularly use a lot of the things that are in last year's box, you know, like this little, the twirling scissor stand. Did you guys love this? Mine is just crammed full of everything. But don't you love that? I mean, I love it. And I've got my bowl here, my little African bowl. Oh yes, I use that like crazy. So I love those. Anyway, lots of stuff going on. Hope everything in your life is good. I hope you got a man who makes you bread, because that's a really good place to be. I got that in my life. Anyway, let's see if I've missed anything else. No, I think I got it all. So happy Tuesday Newsday, everybody, from Africa to you. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.